I play Sophie, and I think that what initially drew me to her was how type A and pragmatic and focused and driven and like planned out she is. I'm not really like that, but my mom is. And so I saw actually quite a lot of like my mom's characteristics in Sophie, and I thought to myself, I think it would be really fun to like go in with this and try and like bring like aspects of like my mom's personality into it. So I think that's probably why what initially drew me to Sophie for sure.
I think for Walt, he's just a very boyish character. Mm-hmm. I think he's quite fun and he's lighthearted, and it was a character that I hadn't really played, or at least in a while, and I wanted to have that kind of lighthearted energy back on set.
Hey!
What are you doing here?
I can explain.
It's hard to explain because casting and chemistry, and I've said this before, but it's really the one part of a production you cannot predict. Yeah. And you have chemistry reads, but they're usually so sterile and they're so...
Especially now with Zoom.
They're so pressurized that you can't really dictate how a relationship between your cast members is going to be 3 months after a production or 3 months into production.
And I will say, like, I think that we got very, very lucky because for the majority of the film, it's literally us in a room together, in a tiny spaceship together. And I think being around someone for 16 hours a day in a tiny room and it's literally just the two of you could be like, really it's a hit or a miss. Yeah. And I think we got really, really lucky. I genuinely, for me, like when I had so much fun working with Cole because I just enjoyed like watching his performance in real time. I thought his choices were so much fun and like I never felt bored. So I had a great time doing it, but I mean, yeah, we were acquainted before, but it was nice to kind of create a friendship.
We did have the luxury of meeting a couple times before, which I think always helps.
Yes.
But you never really know how it's gonna be until you get your boots on the ground and start filming.
Sophie for Walt.
$100 says you just said that into your wrist. You're a space criminal now.
I think that Chris cast so well. He cast Michelle and Cameron, and he was specifically cast incredible like stand-up comedians. Yeah. And that made such a huge difference because when you bring like someone like Michelle onto set, you kind of just have to like let go because she is so witty that I genuinely feel like what comes out of her mouth is often so much better than what's scripted.
Every
so amazing.
Every comedian that we had
was so good. So
I also think there were points where Lana and I we were dying to improv too. But one of the hard things about our characters is that if we go off the script too much, the movie goes in a completely different direction.
Yes.
So we had to continue to deliver our lines as scripted in very many cases, and they would just come up with all this new surprising material in front of us, which was...
Like, we had chains on, everyone else, like Zach, could just go for it. Everyone else, but they were like,
and don't get me wrong, we definitely got to improv as much as we were allowed to flex, but it was very hard to keep a straight face for that exact reason, which
impossible.
Is the tete-a-tete was not fully encouraged on our end.
Gary, can you please dim the lights?
I feel like a Hot Pocket.
We probably could have ended up with 7 different movies.
Yeah, I agree.
Truly. But the way that it turned out was perfect. It had the backbone that it needed while still having all the flexibility of the improv. So I think he did a really well.
Yeah, and I think that like it also was because Chris got so many different takes of us, like as an actor, that was quite fun. Because actually you taught me this, because at first I was like, oh my God, like I'm doing a scene one way and then I'm gonna do a scene completely the other way. And Cole, you were like, well, it's probably a good thing, like just let go and trust his vision and probably more takes is better than less.
Yeah.
Which was very because I'm kind of a bit nervous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that he did such an amazing job, and he created an amazing environment, and so did all the producers and everyone. It was a pretty seamless
It was
production,
very fun,
I must say.
He checks all the boxes.
Oh, you mean literally? I think one, Moonshot uses like the meet cute trope, which is great. But it also, I think it's, and I've said this before, and we were talking about this in the previous interview, but it's a lot about the relief of control and sort of becoming a by-the-wind sailor and allowing life to lead you rather than you trying to wrangle it in. And if something comes across your lap and goes, wow, hey, this looks a lot
Yes.
like life, then yeah, I say follow it and just experiment with it and see where it goes.
I think be open, always keep your heart open, I think. And understand that things might not go your way, but there's always a new day. And if you keep your heart open, you might find a really cool person.